It starts before you even open your eyes. It is the sound, that specific rhythmic chime of your alarm. For a brief second, you lie there, staring at the ceiling, paralyzed not by physical fatigue, but by a heavy, invisible weight pressing down on your chest. It is the weight of again. You pull yourself up, you go through the motions, the cold water on your face, the taste of coffee that you don't really enjoy anymore, but consume out of necessity. The commute. You see the same faces on the train or in traffic. You sit at the same desk or stare at the same screen, scrolling through the same feed of curated happiness that you cannot relate to. You perform the rituals of modern existence perfectly. To the outside observer, you are functional, you are stable, you are fine. But internally, you feel like a ghost haunting your own life. You have caught yourself wondering, perhaps while washing dishes or driving home in the dark, is this it? You look at the calendar and realize that weeks have dissolved into months and months into years with terrifying speed. You feel as though you are not moving forward, but merely spinning in a circle, like a hamster on a wheel, like a machine executing a script written by someone else. There is a specific shame attached to this feeling. You look at your friends or peers on social media, and they seem to be climbing a ladder. They are achieving, they are progressing. Their lives look like a straight line pointing upward. But your life feels like a loop. You fix a problem today, only for it to return tomorrow. You finish the laundry, only to dirty it again. You clear your inbox, only for it to fill up again. You feel defective. You wonder if you lack ambition or drive or the spark that everyone else seems to have. You hide this exhaustion because you cannot explain why normal life feels so unbearable to you. Let me tell you something that the world will not. This exhaustion is not a symptom of depression. It is not a sign of laziness, and you are not broken. You are simply waking up to the absurdity of the human condition. You have stared into the mechanism of existence and realized that the ladder is a lie. There is no ladder. There is only the rock and the hill. What you are experiencing is the myth of Sisyphus playing out in real time within your nervous system. And believe it or not, this paralyzing realization is the first step toward true freedom. We live in a civilization that is pathologically obsessed with the arrow. From the moment you entered the school system, you were taught that life is a trajectory. You start at point A and you must climb to point B. Better grades, better university, better job, higher salary, bigger house. Society demands that you must always be becoming something else. If you are not growing, you are dying. If you are not leveling up, you are failing. They sell you the idea that happiness is a destination waiting at the top of the mountain. And this is the source of your hidden shame. You look at your own life, the repetitive tasks, the daily maintenance of existence, and you judge it against their arrow. You think, why am I still here? Why haven't I arrived yet? You feel a deep, quiet guilt because you suspect that you are not hustling hard enough. You withdraw. You stop posting on social media because you have no milestones to show off. You become a lurker, watching others celebrate their curated victories while you silently push your rock. But let me offer you a defense that no career counselor will ever give you. Your reluctance to play their game is not a weakness. It is an instinctual rejection of a lie. The people you envy, those who seem to be sprinting up the mountain of success, look closely. They are exhausted. They are anxious. They reach one peak only to realize it is merely the bottom of another. They are slaves to the future, forever running away from the present moment. You, in your stagnation, have actually touched upon a deeper truth. You have realized, perhaps unconsciously, that life is not a straight line. It is a circle. It is a season. It is a heartbeat. Nature does not hustle. Trees do not apologize for losing their leaves every winter, only to grow them back in the spring. The sun does not feel ashamed for rising in the east every single morning. Your daily struggle, that boring loop you despise, is not a failure of ambition. It is the rhythm of reality. By staying in the loop, by refusing to perform a fake happiness you do not feel, you are demonstrating a rare kind of integrity. You are not falling behind. You are simply seeing the stage for what it is. While they are acting out a play of progress, you have stepped backstage. You are facing the machinery of existence without flinching. To understand why you feel this weight, we must leave the modern world behind and consult a man who understood the crushing nature of the loop better than anyone: the French philosopher Albert Camus. In 1942, amidst the chaos of war, Camus published an essay titled The Myth of Sisyphus. He retells the Greek legend of Sisyphus, a king who cheated death and was punished by the gods. His sentence was simple, yet terrifyingly eternal. Sisyphus was condemned to push a massive boulder up a mountain, but just as he reached the top, the rock would roll back down to the bottom and he would have to start all over again. Forever. Now, look at your life again. The alarm clock, the commute,
Moving forward,
the laundry, the inbox.
the journey continues.
You are Sisyphus. But here is the hidden variable that your anxiety has been hiding from you. The tragedy of Sisyphus and the tragedy of your life is not the heaviness of the rock. It is not the difficulty of the task. The tragedy lies in your consciousness. Camus argues that if Sisyphus were a mindless machine or an animal acting on instinct, he would not suffer. The suffering exists only because he is aware of the futility. He knows the rock will fall. You suffer because you are intelligent enough to see the pattern, yet powerless to break it. This is what Camus calls the absurd. The absurd is the desperate human need for meaning colliding with a universe that offers none. You want your struggle to lead to a finale, a victory, a destination. But the universe offers only the cycle. However, there is a deeper layer here, a layer that analytical psychology unveils. Carl Jung spoke of a stage in the alchemical transformation of the soul called nigredo, the blackening. Nigredo is the phase of decomposition. It is the dark night of the soul, where everything feels heavy, stagnant, and rotting. It is the moment when the ego is crushed under the weight of despair. Society tells you that this darkness is a sickness. They tell you to take a pill, to buy a product, to fix it. But Jung suggests that nigredo is not a mistake. It is a requirement. You cannot have gold without first breaking down the lead. You cannot have a true self without first burning away the illusions of who you thought you were. The repetition, the boredom, the crushing weight of your daily rock, this is the fire of the nigredo. It is burning away your vanity. It is burning away your need for external validation. It is forcing you to stop looking for happiness out there in the future and compelling you to find substance in here, in the struggle itself. Tone should become uplifting, almost heroic, but still grounded. So, how do we survive the rock? How do we survive the alarm clock? We return to Camus. He focuses on a very specific moment in the myth, not the pushing up the hill, that is just labor. He focuses on the moment the rock rolls down, and Sisyphus has to turn around and walk back to the plain to start again. Camus calls this the hour of consciousness. In that walk back down the hill, Sisyphus is free. He knows the rock waits for him. He knows his fate is sealed. But he chooses to walk toward it anyway. He realizes that the gods cannot punish him if he accepts the punishment. If you accept that the loop is inevitable, if you stop hoping for the rock to disappear, you rob the struggle of its power to hurt you. You realize that the meaning of life is not at the top of the mountain. The meaning is in the pushing. The meaning is in the sweat on your brow, the strength in your muscles, the discipline of showing up when you don't want to. This is the ultimate Stoic victory. You stop being a victim of your routine and become the master of your attitude. You wake up. The alarm rings. You do not sigh. You do not wish you were somewhere else. You look at the rock, your job, your duties, your boring life, and you say, "This is mine." You take ownership of the absurdity. You find dignity in the endurance. Camus concludes his essay with a sentence that should echo in your mind every time you feel the urge to quit. The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. You are not punished by the loop, you are defined by it. We are all pushing something. For some, the rock is a career that feels empty. For others, it is a memory that refuses to fade, or a loneliness that feels heavy enough to crush bones. I want you to take a moment and identify your rock. Give it a name. If you feel comfortable, leave it in the comments below. Not for the algorithm, and not for attention, but simply to put it down for a moment. To say, "This is my struggle, and I acknowledge it." Read the stories of others. You will find that while our rocks are different, the mountain is the same. And perhaps, in seeing the struggle of others, you will find the strength to push yours again tomorrow. You are not alone on this hill. Thank you for listening.